There's something about the way he looks at you when he thinks you're not watching. A quiet intensity. A silence that speaks volumes. Maybe you felt it too. That pull, that sense of being deeply known, even without words. But then, just when you think he might open up, he retreats again. And you're left wondering if his heart already belongs to you. Why does it feel like fear still holds the key? Today, the angels have something sacred to reveal to you. Something that might explain everything you've been sensing but couldn't quite name. They see you. They see how your heart stretches between hope and hesitation, how you've been holding space for a love that feels so close, yet not fully yours. And they want you to know, it's not in your imagination. There's a divine reason you're here reading this. Because the truth is more beautiful and more complicated than you might think. He does love you. Deeply. Completely. But love, especially a love this real, isn't always simple. For him, loving you is like standing on the edge of a vast ocean. Breathtaking, magnetic, but also terrifying. You represent something he's never experienced before. Something raw. Something true. Something that asks him to lay down all the defenses he's spent years building. The angels are showing that this man, this soul who keeps circling your orbit, is carrying old wounds that run deeper than you know. Somewhere along the way, he learned that love could hurt. That vulnerability meant danger. That opening up meant risking everything. So when he met you, when he felt that instant soul-level recognition, he panicked. Because suddenly, he had something to lose. And yet, he can't stay away. That's why he keeps coming back, even when he tries to keep his distance. That's why your presence lingers in his mind like a tune he can't stop humming. You've awakened something sacred in him, a longing to connect, to be seen, to be genuine. But that awakening also brings all his fears to the surface. You might notice he's more present one day and more withdrawn the next. That's not rejection. It's resistance. It's the internal struggle between his desire to dive into this love and his fear of drowning in it. He's unsure he's worthy of the way you see him, of the way you love unconditionally, of the light you shine so effortlessly. But here's what the angels want you to know. Your love is not in vain. Every kind gesture, every quiet prayer, every bit of patience, it's working. You're not just touching his heart. You're healing it. Slowly, gently, powerfully. And now, he's reaching a tipping point. The angels whisper that there's a moment coming, sooner than you expect, when he will no longer be able to run from what he feels. When the weight of pretending will become too heavy. When silence will no longer protect him, but imprison him. And when that moment comes, it will change everything. He will begin to speak. Not just with words, but with actions. With presence. With the kind of honesty that only comes when someone is finally ready to risk everything for what matters most. But while this moment draws closer, the angels ask something of you too. Stay open. Stay grounded in your truth. Let your love remain an invitation, not a demand. Because in your softness, he finds safety. In your steadiness, he finds the courage he's never known. There's a divine orchestration at play here. Things are moving behind the scenes, spiritually, emotionally, in ways you can't yet see. And your trust is the bridge between what is and what's becoming. Right now, he's in a sacred in-between. Not fully in, not fully out. But heading toward you, step by uncertain step. And this is the moment. Yes, right now, when I ask you to pause and take a breath. Feel this message in your body, in your soul. If it resonates, it's because the angels chose you to hear it. Now, let me ask you something from the heart. If you're still reading this, it's not just curiosity. It's because you feel it. Deep down, You know this connection was heaven sent. So before we continue, I want to ask you to claim your place in this journey. Type, "I receive this love" in the comments, not just as a ritual, but as a sacred declaration to the universe that you're ready. Ready to receive what your heart has long been calling in. Ready to step fully into the divine unfolding that's already begun. Because trust me, he's already on his way. He might not have all the words yet. He might still be scared. But his soul remembers yours. And love, real love, always finds a way home. There's something else the angels want you to know. Something crucial. As much as this love is about him finding his way back to you, it's also about you returning to yourself. You've spent so much time trying to understand his silence, his distance, his fear. You've wondered if you said too much, or not enough. If maybe you loved him too deeply. If your patience, your softness, your truth were too overwhelming. But the angels are shaking their heads. They want you to hear this clearly. You were never too much. You were the mirror he wasn't ready to face. Because when he looks at you, he sees his own potential, his own buried tenderness, his own capacity to love with his whole soul. And for someone who has spent a lifetime armoring himself against disappointment, that kind of reflection can feel like both a blessing and a threat. But you've already done the hardest part. You stayed. Not in desperation, but with a deep sense of knowing. You didn't chase. You didn't plead. You created space. With grace. With dignity. With a kind of sacred hope that very few people have the strength to bear. That's why the heavens are moving for you now. There's a shift occurring, soul to soul. His heart is no longer just whispering. It's starting to ache for something real. Something lasting. Something that only you seem to possess. And he knows, even if he hasn't said it out loud yet, that the path back to peace runs through you. He's beginning to understand that love isn't meant to be perfect. It's meant to be true. And there's something about your presence, your unwavering light, that makes him want to be honest for the first time in a long time. Honest about his fears. Honest about his longing. Honest about how your absence leaves a pain that nothing else can ease. The angels are revealing glimpses of conversations that almost took place, of moments when he nearly reached out, of nights when he stared at his phone, heart racing, fingers hovering. And still, fear prevailed. But now, things are different. He's growing weary of the pretense, of the running, of waking up with your name in his heart and pretending it's just coincidence. There's something building. And soon, something will burst forth. You'll feel it before you see it. A change in his energy. A crack in his silence. A softness in his eyes when he looks at you again. And when that moment arrives, it won't be because you pushed. It'll be because love, real, divinely orchestrated love, cannot be held back forever. But while he finds his courage, you have your own sacred task. It's time to return home to yourself. The angels are wrapping you in light as you read this. They're reminding you that your worth was never tied to his readiness. That your glow has never depended on his recognition. That your soul is magnetic because of who you are, not just what you offer him. This journey, it's not just about union. It's about remembrance. About reclaiming your own power while still holding space for love. You are allowed to love him deeply and still protect your peace. You are allowed to believe in the connection and still choose yourself every day. And you are allowed to trust the divine plan, even when it unfolds slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. But know this, he feels you. Every time you think of him, he softens. Every time you send a silent prayer into the night, he hears it in the corners of his heart. You are woven into the fabric of his becoming. And soon he will have to decide. Keep hiding behind the illusion of safety, or leap into the only truth that ever made him feel alive. You. He knows now that no one else ignites his soul like you do. That no other love has called him so fully into presence. That no one else makes him want to become a better man. Not for approval, but for alignment. But the angels also want you to ask yourself something tender and honest. When he finally opens that door, will you still be there? Heart open, but boundaries strong? Will you meet him not as a woman waiting to be chosen, but as a woman who already chose herself, and now invites love as a bonus, not a rescue? This is the kind of power the angels are placing in your hands. And just like before, if your soul is resonating, I want you to claim this next chapter. Type, "I am ready to receive love and truth," in the comments. Say it out loud. Whisper it to the sky. Let the universe know that you're done shrinking. That you're done dimming your light for someone to feel safe. That you're done confusing your value with someone else's fear. Because guess what? Fear might still hold the key in his hands right now. But love, your love, has already unlocked the door. The angels now whisper something more. Something only your heart will truly understand. He remembers moments you thought were forgotten. The way your eyes held his when words failed. The quiet courage in your voice when you offered him kindness even when he was distant. The steadiness of your presence when everything else in his world felt unsteady. These memories don't fade, they echo. And they're waking something up inside him that can no longer be ignored. He is starting to understand that love is not about grand gestures or flawless timing. It's about presence. It's about choosing someone again and again, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's terrifying. Especially when it's terrifying. The angels show that recently, he's been having dreams. Not always literal ones, but soul-level visitations. You appear in his thoughts at odd hours, in songs, in strangers' faces, in moments of stillness when his mind quiets. It's not coincidence. It's soul memory. Because you two didn't just meet in this life. Your souls have danced through many lifetimes, learning, losing, returning. And this life. This might be the one where you finally get it right. But only if both of you are willing to do something different. He's coming to realize that he can't keep hiding behind fear. That he can't let his past dictate his future. That pushing you away doesn't protect him. It punishes him. And his heart is tired of punishment. But listen closely now, because this is for you. While he unravels his defenses, it's your time to bloom. To anchor even deeper into your own radiance. To trust the version of yourself that doesn't wait to be chosen, but chooses herself every single day. You are not in limbo. You are in preparation. The angels are strengthening your spirit because the love you're about to receive will be unlike anything you've experienced before. Not because it will be perfect, but because it will be real. This man, this soul your heart keeps returning to. He's getting ready for something. It's not flashy. It's not for show. It's genuine. He's starting to find the words, the courage, and the clarity to come to you. Not with a facade, not with a performance, but as he truly is. And when he does, it will feel different. Not because the pain is gone, but because love has finally grown strong enough to hold it. But the angels want to prepare you for something else as well. This return, when it happens, will challenge your heart in a new way. You'll be asked not to fall back into old patterns of saving, overgiving, or shrinking to make room for his growth. You'll be asked to love differently, more maturely, more honestly, with boundaries, with grace, with the wisdom you've gained through the waiting. Because your journey hasn't been passive. It's been transformational. You've turned doubt into strength, silence into intuition, longing into leadership. And now, you're not just hoping for love. You're ready for it. The angels want you to take a moment right now and honor yourself for how far you've come. You've loved without losing yourself. You've believed in something you couldn't see. You've created space not only for another's healing but for your own growth. This is sacred. And now, things are shifting. Quickly. He's watching you. Quietly. From a distance. And what he sees now isn't just someone beautiful or kind. He sees someone powerful. Someone who moves with grace and strength. Someone who hasn't begged for his love, but has become the kind of woman he wants to grow alongside. That realization is breaking down his resistance. Slowly, deeply, permanently. Because while fear taught him to run, your light is teaching him to return. And now it's your turn to prepare, not for chaos, not for confusion, but for clarity. There's a new chapter being written even as you read this. And it's not a repeat of the old stories. It's something sacred. Something aligned. Something that reflects the love you've always deserved. Now breathe with me. Close your eyes for a moment, and imagine it, a conversation where nothing is held back. Where he speaks the words you thought you'd never hear. Where his eyes don't dart away, but lock into yours with unshakable certainty. That moment is real. It exists in the quantum. The angels are guiding it into form. And when it arrives, you'll know. Because your whole body will exhale. Until then, hold this message in your heart like a flame. Let it warm you. Let it remind you. You are not waiting. You are welcoming. You are not forgotten. You are foretold. And you are not alone. The angels are beside you. He is on his way. And your heart. It already knows the way home. And now, dear soul, the angels invite you to step through a final threshold, a space where surrender becomes sacred, and trust becomes your superpower. You've walked through the fire of uncertainty, the ache of longing, and the quiet courage of holding on to love without knowing where it would lead. That is no small thing. That is the work of someone deeply aligned with her divine essence. He sees it now. Maybe not fully, maybe not with the eloquence you deserve, but something in him has shifted. A recognition has settled in his spirit. You are not just someone he wants. You are someone his soul remembers. And though fear may still whisper in his ear, love is now speaking louder. What happens next isn't about chasing or waiting. It's about magnetism. Alignment. The sacred dance between destiny and free will. You don't need to prove anything to him. You don't need to fix him. You don't need to diminish your light to make him comfortable. You simply need to be. Be the woman who knows her worth. Be the soul who trusts divine timing. Be the love that doesn't crumble in the face of uncertainty. And as you rise, you create space for him to rise too. Because this love, this real, raw, soul-forged love, was never meant to break you. It was meant to build you. And now, it's building him too. He's realizing that vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the gateway to everything his heart desires. He's learning that true connection doesn't demand perfection. It requires presence. And most importantly, he's coming to understand that the woman who once stood quietly in the shadows of his indecision is actually the light he's been searching for all along. The angels want you to know, his breakthrough moment is near. Very near. And when it arrives, it won't resemble a movie scene. It will look like truth. It will feel like peace. It will sound like, I'm sorry I took so long. But I'm here now. If you'll have me. And if your heart is ready, if your spirit whispers yes, then what unfolds next will not only heal the past, it will create something new. something sacred, something extraordinary. But no matter what he chooses, no matter what words he speaks, your love has already served its divine purpose. You became the catalyst. You became the mirror. You became the reason he began to believe again. In himself, in love, in something greater. That alone makes you sacred. That alone makes you powerful. And now, if this message resonated with you, if your soul whispered yes with every word, this is the moment to cross the threshold. Type, "I claim this love. I trust my divine timing," in the comments. Not for me, not for him, but for you. Because this journey has never been about chasing love. It's been about becoming the version of you who no longer needs to chase it. Because it's already yours. It's already on its way. And the key was never in his fear. It was always in your faith.